Welcome back to the Thrive podcast, where we empower women to reclaim their energy, heal their gut, balance their hormones, and step into their most radiant, thriving selves and fulfilled lives. Today is a special episode because for the very first time, we have a man joining us on the show. And not just any man, it's Avi Ajwani. He's a powerful mentor who helps entrepreneurs break free from the toxic hustle culture and step into true abundance with ease and flow. So, in a world that glorifies doing more, pushing harder, and sacrificing well being for success, Avi brings a refreshing perspective. So, what if success didn't have to come from struggle? What if we could trust that everything we desire is already on its way? So, if you have ever felt burned out, stuck in a scarcity mindset, or trapped in the endless cycle of not enough, this conversation is for you. Avi will share how to rewire your beliefs around success, wealth, and effort so you can create a life that feels truly aligned, abundant, and fulfilling. So get ready for a conversation that will challenge everything you thought you knew about success and help you shift into a state of trust, ease, and flow. And if you love what you hear, make sure to subscribe and leave a review. It helps us spread this mission of thriving, not just surviving. So welcome, Avi. Great to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me, Karina. I must say that was one of the most beautiful and compact introductions I've had in any podcast before, so I really love that. Thank
Happy you liked it. And I would like to start right away with your story. So, what led you to this work and of helping entrepreneurs shift from hustle to flow?
That's a beautiful question, and the relevance of that question right now, I'm currently back home with my family, with my parents, and I think a lot of what happens to us in the household, right? A lot of the story that we build or the trauma, the pain that converts into power is built around mom and dad, family, and the conditioning that you built around whilst you were growing up. So for me, growing up in an Indian household, but also a gay man, I always felt like I had to hide, like I had to suppress this version of me. And that hiding not only showed up in my personality, but also in my sexual preferences. It showed up in my career. It showed up in so many other ways where I chose to, out of fear, play it small, to hide, to protect this greatness, or to protect even the light, the color, the vibrancy that is within my soul, because I was afraid it would hurt someone. It would bring harm to my family, to society, it would bring shame, and all those things that we're conditioned to believe that expressing ourselves will bring harm to others. So I guess a pattern of self-neglect, a pattern of self-abandonment, putting myself last and putting others first as a natural people pleaser was born because of that, because of wanting to be loved by other people, because of wanting to be validated. And I think um, growing up, I became such an expert at that I think I dipped down who I truly am and what my voice is. And I think that's something that happens for a lot of creatives and a lot of entrepreneurs. We become products of society, but we forget to become products of ourselves, of our own true way of dancing and navigating on this earth. So coaching is something that came to me 4 or 5 years ago during COVID, which was a very sad time for a lot of people. But for me, it was a time of a lot of abundance, joy, love. I was deeply taken care of by my family. I was financially safe and secure, and it felt right. It felt like a need to help others smile as well, to help others feel that positive energy that I was feeling in a time of need and in a time of sadness in the world. So I think the word coaching came to me somehow, and little did I know that I'd been doing it my entire life and that I've always been that shoulder for other people, sometimes out of people pleasing, but a lot of the times out of seeing in others the gift that I sometimes even forgot to see in myself.
I think many, like I and many of my listeners, can resonate very well with your story because very often we can feel that we put ourselves like we play small and we hide and we don't live our true potential. So I would like to know, how did you overcome all of that? How did you find or what did help, what helped you to finally allow yourself to be seen, to be heard, and not to hide anymore?
I'd say there were a few factors that came into mind as I was listening to your question. One of them was support, having the right people and mentors in my life. Well, that's friends, family, but also coaches and support. The other part would be silence, time in silence to get to know yourself. But I think what really, really helped me, which is something that we all have within us, is I think I'm not very sure how to call this, but it's like an inner frustration that God or our potential experiences within us when it's hiding, right? There is that voice that's constantly trying to come out. And if we keep suppressing it in, eventually it's going to want to break free somehow. Well, that's through burnout, well, that's through sadness, well, that's through pain. Somehow or the other, the light finds its way to come out. And either we can open the door for it and it just naturally flows out of us, or it will come out in a very painful experience through a breakup, through coming out journey, through something where it will come out through the cracks, but the light is always looking for a way to come out. So yes, the support, the friends, the right people, spending a lot of time alone to discover who I am, they really helped. But I think what has really, really helped me is just that innate frustration that was hiding the light and the light trying to just get through. And I think we all have that, right? We become masters of hiding and suppressing our gifts and our talents, but somehow or the other, they're always going to find a little hole to peek through. And when that gift peeks through that hole or through that crack, we also experience so much liberation and joy, but we're scared of our greatness. We're scared of our potential. So we just keep hiding it and keep hiding it and keep hiding it. And that's where really good friends like yourself or mentors or excellent coaches, just like you as well, that have a strong intuition that can see us for who we are, not who we're pretending to be, that people that can really see through us are very important to reflect back that potential that we are sabotaging and hiding inside of us.
I'm so glad that you had that. I'm super glad. Because I mean, hustle culture is so deeply ingrained in us. And why do you think so many of us struggle to let go of the idea that success must come from effort and hard work? Myself, I grew up in Germany, and it's a society where we even have some quotes that say, if you work very hard, you get very far, or work, 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 and build a house, stuff like this. So many of us grow up in cultures or also in households where you, yeah, learn the concept of you need to work hard and it needs to be also hard in order to be successful. So let us so why do you think struggle so many of us to let go of that idea?
I think we struggle to let go because a lot of the concepts in our life have been created, right? We should dress a certain way and we shouldn't dress a certain way. We should talk a certain way, we shouldn't talk. A week has 7 days, Monday to Sunday, and it has certain amount of hours. Like every single thing in our life has been constructed, right? There's been a construct around how many days we have, how much time we have on this earth, how we should show up based on a culture or religion, this and that. And everything has been created for us by people in the past. But what we're doing is we're just taking all of that and we're running with it. And I think a lot of what our generation is doing, at least, I don't know how you feel about this, Karina, but I really feel like our generation's here to just grab the scissors and chop all the conditioning that we were given by our family, by our lineage, by our ancestry. It's hard work. Sometimes it feels like a burden. Sometimes it even feels like a challenge. But we're really here chopping up the threads that we've piled up from the past and we've chosen to believe. And we're finally going, is this true for me? Is this really serving me? Is this really joy for me? And I think joy has become such a priority and well-being has become such a massive priority for our generation. And it wasn't so much previously. Survival was a bigger motivation back in the day. Survival was a motivation, fitting in was a motivation, wanting to be part of the tribe was a bigger motivation. And now we're looking for a different word. We're looking for inspiration. What brings me joy? What brings me happiness? What makes me feel love and the higher vibrational things? And we're coming to realize that having a property and having all these things, having is not where the true joy is. I really feel like our culture is starting to realize that being is where the real joy is. Understanding who we are is where the real joy is. Being in the present moment is where true happiness is. And I think for me, it was really hard to let go of the conditioning. Like because I felt rejected at the age of 13 for my sexuality, right? I didn't feel like it was safe to be that in my home. It was even shut down. It was even, my parents even said, could you please turn that down, or should we get you some help so that you don't go down this path and we don't bring shame into the family. So as a child, what you learn is who I am at my core, my sensibility, my sensitivity, my softness, my kindness, my freedom, my gayness, or my whatever my sexuality is. It's not safe to be me. So how can I cover this up in order to be loved? So I became Mr. Perfect. Let me get the perfect grades. Let me achieve. Let me push hard because that's what my brother and all the males in my family are doing, right? Let me create the property. Let me reach here. Let me go to Dubai and earn this much money and this and that until one day it all comes crashing down. And it comes crashing down, and what you're left with is you. And you're left with feeling unsatisfied with who you are at your core without all those accomplishments. You
Did
don't
you feel
feel
empty at that time?
correct. You feel empty. You feel that all of a sudden, when those accomplishments and the money and all those things they fall off, who is left you're not happy with. And it's really interesting, right? You're not satisfied with your being, so you use all those things to compensate and to feel good enough. And eventually, when all of those things have gone, when you choose to take a step back, which is what I did, I left Dubai because my soul didn't feel aligned working there and living there. And I started over, and I tried to create a life based on my being, from acceptance, from love. Everything else started to make a lot more meaning and had a lot more fulfillment, and therefore abundance became a natural byproduct of that. Instead of having to push to be someone else, like my brother or my father or any other male in society, I push now to become more of me because I know that that's where the true gift is. I know that that's where the true joy and abundance is, and it's showing in every day.
Yeah, and it's making you unique because you are living from a very authentic place. And you're absolutely right. No, many in our society, many in our generation. I mean, I'm a bit older than you, but we are really trying to become everything that we are not. Like to take off all the layers to come to get or to reach our core self, our true being. And many of our listeners feel like they have to do more in order to feel worthy. And like, how do you guide people to untangle their self-worth from their productivity so that I'm not the outcome of what I produce?
You know what? I wouldn't guide them to not feel satisfied by their achievements because that is also part of life, right? Creation is also why we came here. We are creators. That's where the word creativity comes from as well. And I wouldn't discourage them from achieving and from putting themselves out there. What I would really say is to find the source of it, like where it's coming from. Like understanding where we're moving from is very important. Are we moving from needing to prove something? Are we moving from a place of lack? Are we moving from a place of joy? Are we moving from a place of our souls coming to life? Like, where are you taking that action from? Right? That's what all that matters. And something that I've also noticed is that the less I do, the more I'm creating space for a very magical thing called silence. And in that silence, which we're so uncomfortable to be with, we, especially in this dopamine driven society that we're in, where emails, LinkedIn, Instagram, social media, where's the next notification, where's the next client, or where's the next 10K coming from, is the metric for success. Silence is one of those most rejected gifts that we're ignoring, but it actually has everything that we need. So I want to be very vulnerable. I've actually experienced a burnout in February, twice actually. And I'm still sort of recovering from that burnout. And in that burnout, what you learn is that your body is literally begging for silence. It's literally begging to be, to not do, to not achieve, to not be associated with metrics of success that are conditioned from society. It's just saying, please slow down. Please slow down and enjoy this conversation. Please slow down and enjoy this candle right here as it's lighting and you're just feeling its energy. But one of the most beautiful things that I forgot is that when we do slow down, when we do walk really softly in nature, when we do really start to listen to the air and to the wind and to the ocean, we start receiving. We start receiving that wisdom that is waiting for us there. It's literally waiting to whisper at us and say, no, not this way, go here. Joy is here. And then we start following it and we take one little, very tiny, effortless step in that direction and doors start opening. But and what I try to always share with the people that I work with, whether that's through my example or through life as well, is that if you're pushing and forcing and you're trying to knock doors and they're not opening, maybe that's not for you. Maybe that's just not for you. And maybe just in that moment, stop. Stop, take a moment, breathe, go the other way. Do a trust and abundance hour. Go to the beach, lie down, enjoy your own presence. And then when you're really soft and silent, when you're really in your body and you've entered that space of not doing from a burnout place, from a I need to, from a where's inspiration and joy guiding me now? The whispers will come. The whispers of divine, the whispers of God will appear. And you'll get the nuggets that will then all of a sudden make life so much easier. And those things that you were chasing from a very hard, from a very pushy place would start opening up in such an easy manner. And you're like, wow, why didn't I do this earlier?
Yes, you're totally right. And I don't know what your experience was, but when I started to stay in silence, I think for the first time that I really started that for extended periods of time. I think I started with 5 minutes, and that was already pretty hard for me. It can be very scary, no? Because we have so much stimulation around us constantly. And then when you are just left with yourself and you need to start listening to your voice and to your inner struggles and to all that unprocessed stuff that you carry around with you, I found it really frightening. And I had to find my ease in that silence. So nowadays I'm loving it, but the beginning was pretty hard. How was it for you?
I couldn't agree more. And I think at some points in your life you need support and you need people. And I think we're here for a reason. We weren't born alone in this beautiful planet. There's 7 or 8 billion people out there, and sometimes we do need each other and to have a conversation. And there are other moments where you need yourself. But how did I go about shifting that fear of being alone into a joy? I think by doing it, right? It's it,
Totally.
it's sort of like meditation. A lot of people when they're offered to meditate, they're like, "Oh, I just don't meditate. That's not for me." Well, of course it's not for you because the first few times are hard. They're uncomfortable and you don't want to sit with the hard. You don't want to sit with the truth. You don't want to sit with your softness even because you've just learned to go, go, go. You've just learned to be on the move because being on the move is I'm good enough, I'm productive, I'm achieving, I'm reaching, in comparison to this other person, I am also there yet. It's always like I am moving, therefore I am.
Mm.
When I'm still, I am not. When I'm still, I'm not good enough. And who am I to be still? Who am I to slow down? And I think that's the real fear. We're really truly afraid to just slow down, to rest even. I was watching an interview just this morning on a podcast that I was featured in, and a bunch of other creatives were featured in it as well. And the person that was interviewing asked the creatives, how do you feel about rest? And each and every one of them replied saying, rest is something I struggle with. I feel like I'm a workaholic. And I just looked at that interview and I'm like, how is it that 5 different people from different parts of the world were interviewed for this one same conversation and we're all saying the exact same thing? Is the audio gone? Can't hear me? Oh, hello, hello. Yes? Yes. So as I was saying, how is it that people from all over the globe that have been interviewed for this experience are all saying that not enoughness is pushing them? Not enoughness is pushing them to workaholicness, towards burnout, towards doing, and that rest is something that we struggle with. And any creative book that you open by Rick Rubin, I think it's called The Creative Act, or any other book that you'll open, which is about creativity, which is about channeling and connecting to your inner wisdom, one of the most important things that they're always talking about is silence. So when you're running away from silence, What you're actually scared and you're running away from is from you.
Yeah,
You're running,
totally.
you're running away from you. You're running away from the whispers. You're running away from the clues that life is trying to scream at you, right? But what we're doing instead is we're following the other path. We're doing. We reach burnout or super tiredness, and then we're frustrated and we just lie down for a couple of days in bed. And when you're really angry and tired and sad and frustrated, all of a sudden the wisdom will come through. In those moments of tiredness, the wisdom will come through and you'd start deleting conversations. You start removing people from your life because you're like, ah, I really can't be asked. I'm done being a people pleaser. I'm done pushing. I'm done this. I'm done that. Why are we waiting till we're done? Why are we waiting till we're frustrated? Why are we waiting till we're burnt out to listen? And when I say we, I include myself. I am not there yet either. I'm still learning. I'm still processing the dopamine addiction sometimes. I'm still processing the growth and achievement mindset sometimes as well. So I'm meeting this statement with so much humility and so much of a mirror mindset because I too am learning that silence is where the gift is at. And if I could tattoo it on my arm, I would really because every single time I've spent time not doing and just being and receiving life, I have received those clues that I was so desperately waiting for in order to move forwards.
Yeah, that's beautiful and so like would be so important, no, for everyone to experience. But yeah, we live in a society that is not used to be in silence and not to do anything. It's already when you meet people after the weekend, what have you done this weekend? And you would reply, nothing. Nothing. I just enjoyed time in silence and I did nothing. Most of the people they would look at you, what? How can you do? I did this and this and this. So yeah, usually we all have to-do lists that are too long, and we had this conversation a couple of weeks ago. For me, it's also creating a habit of doing nothing and of being okay with it, not to produce anything and just to be with myself. And what you also said, that silence gives you back creativity. In Ayurveda, it's like we say the elements air and ether are created when you allow yourself to have space for yourself, when you are with yourself, when you are in silence. And this is when the creativity can peak and can come back, and it gives you all the answers that you are looking for. We hear this very often, but it's really true. But it needs practice and it needs consistency, like everything in life. If we want to see, you plant a seed, and in order that you see a flower blooming, you need to be consistent. So a lot of women listening struggle with control and fear around money and time. So what's the first step to shifting from scarcity to trust?
That's a great question, actually. And the first step I would say is to tap into your body. I think your body is your metric for scarcity, fear, success, joy. You're always experiencing something in your body, right? And sometimes, if you are in a position where it is really unstable financially and it is really in a place of lack, I honestly feel like it's completely okay to have some sort of support, some sort of stable passive income, some sort of recurring stability that just brings a bit more safety to your mind. And the reason I say that, especially to women, is because women are women thrive when they have shelter, right? Feminine energy needs to be provided for. When feminine energy needs to feel safe and needs to feel secure, and that also means financially. That also means like my basic needs are met, my money needs are met, my shelter is met, I have food, and therefore my feminine energy, which is about creativity, which is about Shakti, which is about light, which is about color, vibrancy, which is about beauty, aesthetic, can come out, right? So I think putting yourself in a position where, for example, you're going all in into your entrepreneurship with very little savings and putting yourself in a very stressful environment, maybe is not for you, right? And I don't say this with an element of discouragement. I say this with actually the opposite. I say this with an element of like, take care of your needs. And when you are in a place where you're not worried constantly about money, then your creativity will flourish to another dimension, especially as a woman, right? But once you have reached that place, and once you are, for those of you that are a little bit more financially stable and do feel like you have enough to provide for yourself, the shelter, the food, the nourishment, and all of that, and you still sometimes experience feelings of lack, or because you have a bit of residue of your conditioning and that sort of lack and push mindset, then really, really just slow it down. Really, really just slow it down. And I know even me saying this right now can trigger you a little bit, right? For those of you that are listening, you can be a little bit like, but how? How do I slow it down? I have so many obligations. I have this job and that job and my daughter and my son and work and then cooking and this and that. And I'm just like, I get it. I really get it. And maybe you feel like I don't because I'm a man and I'm not being able to fully relate to you. But I do have a mother and I do have a lot of women in my life as well. And what I will say is that, yes, as women, I understand that a lot of what you've been conditioned to believe is to put your children, to put others, to put your man even first or woman first, right? But it's okay sometimes to really prioritize you because women forget sometimes how strong of a pillar they are in a household, how strong of a pillar they are even in society. We have beauty, we have color, we have a love, we have emotionality, we have so much in this life because of feminine energy, because of women. And if women start to realize how much power and how much importance they have in this world, they will actually start feeling more okay to slow down and take up space. It goes back to that word that you said earlier, space. You're afraid of taking up space. You're afraid of taking up slow softness because you feel like if you're taking up space, you're not worthy of doing that because you should be putting conditionally others first. Women in India were always conditioned to put their husbands first, to put their children first, to be the woman that's constantly in action and constantly nurturing and nourishing others. How can you truly nurture and nourish others if you are empty? It goes back to what you were saying, Karina. How can you truly operate from that place? So abundance starts by feeling abundant first. And how can you feel abundant when you are empty? So if you want to start feeling abundant, start filling up your tank. Whether that's a man or a woman listening to this conversation right now, you have a vessel. Going back to the body, you have a vessel. And every single day, you're either leaking water, leaking energy and draining it and completely sucking the life out of that vessel, or you're pouring into that vessel and you're blossoming, just like you were saying earlier, Karina. You're blossoming like a flower. The garden within you, the flowers are blooming, the roses are coming out. And because of that, you're so much more attractive, you're so much more vibrant, you're so much more abundant, you're so much more magnetic, you're so much more desirable even as a woman, you're more sexy even as a woman, because what you've done is you've put yourself first. You've taken care of your energy to such a level that everyone around you is going, wow, this is amazing. I want to be around you. I want to smell you. I want to feel you. I want to touch you. I want to taste your energy. It's magnetic. And that's where true abundance starts.
Thank you so much for saying that. I think me and all our listeners, we just got a huge lift. Thank you so much. And you're absolutely right. A woman needs to feel secure. Security for us women is very important. And what happens when a woman feels secure is that her masculine energy can thrive much easier, because when she feels secure, when she feels stable, when she feels she has a shelter, uh, from when she acts and speaks from this place, then it's so much easier for her also to, yeah, get things done, to be focused, to have a clear mission, to have clarity, and to take action on the things. So thank you so much. I think no one could have explained it better. I loved it. Thank you so much. So another thing that many of us experience, and I had it happening so often to me, and each time I just need to tell myself, okay, stop it. That we say, oh, I'm behind. I'm behind. I have this so often in my course that also my members say, oh, I'm behind on the course hub, Karina. So, how can they start integrating ease without sabotaging their goals? Because also, I think we both are very spiritual people, and in the spiritual world, sometimes also, what I also sometimes see is women or men, they say, okay, I just need to believe in it and it's going to happen. I always say, yes, believe in it, visualize it, but also take action.
Mm.
What do you think about that? Because we really need to take care, like we need a balance of masculine and of feminine energy, and this means rest and action, doing and being. So how can we find that sweet spot between these two forces so that we don't sabotage our goals and that we integrate ease?
Mm. And I love that question, and I'd love to ask you a question actually. Which one comes first? Like, the metaphor of the chicken and the egg. Which one comes first, doing or being?
I would say being. For
In
me, it's being.
Interesting. And which one's being and which one's doing? Just for you when it comes to masculine and feminine.
I mean, that's a good, I mean, the one cannot be done without the other. No, when we look at the yin and yang symbol, um, both are like, both create a whole, like the unity. And the unity is always between the feminine and the masculine. Like you kind of, you alternate between two poles, and you need to learn that flow between the two, which is not always easy. But both are equally important.
I love that. I love that. And you're so right. When you look at the yin and yang, you see that they're equally divided. It's not like the masculine is more dominant, the feminine is more dominant. They're equally, and it just the softness of that curve in between the yin and yang as well is just a dance. It's literally representing that slow, soft curve. And I think going back to your question, like which one should you choose, right? Like sometimes you need the masculine, sometimes you need the feminine. I think if you just think about it in terms of the world, right? Like the woman creates in this earth. Like we are here because the woman gives birth. And the woman gives birth when she is in a safe, fertile land, when she's being able to provide, she's been provided for, and she's received the love of a man as well. But then she's been able to, for 9 months or 8, 9 months, hold this child within her and then give birth to something beautiful. And creation comes into life. Well, that's a man, a woman, also with equal masculine and feminine energy. And if we just apply that now for a second to business, right? I think the first ingredient, which is before even believing, visualizing, and taking action, is the space to receive. The space to receive, which a woman has before she can even give birth. She opens herself up to life. She opens herself up to, let's say, a man or to creation, to receive the blessing that it is to create, right? The creation. And then for 9 months, she cooks this inside of her. She feeds this little child inside of her and she gives it food and nourishment. And the same happens with your creative project. There's two different places that you can take inspiration from. You can go up on social media and you can look at what other entrepreneurs are doing and feel inspired by that. And because of, oh my God, this person's doing this and I'm not clearly doing enough and I need to do this, let me pick up and do more in order to reach, in order to be good enough. That's one place that you can take action from. Or the other place, which is what this we've been talking about in this conversation, is the spaciousness place. And that's the part we're scared of, but that's where true, unique, original beauty comes into this world. You didn't come here to copy and paste what another Instagram creator is doing. You didn't come here to copy what Karina or Avi are doing. You came here to listen to your own unique voice. You came here to listen to why God or why the Big Bang or why the flow or the creation brought you on this earth. You are here for a reason. But if you don't create space to listen to why that is, to why you are here, to what your unique vessel is here to do, or to what your unique voice is here to express on this earth, then you are a product of society and you're not a product of yourself. And that can only happen in the being. So, step one, start with being. Start by being in that feminine container. Allow yourself to be held by nature, by softness, by sensitivity, by silence. Be held by yourself, even to understand who you are. And then, when you receive the impulse, when you receive the inspiration, then activate the masculine only when the body is ready. There's two places also that you can activate your masculine from. I received the impulse, but my body is still really tired, but I'm going to push anyways because I've just received the impulse. I've got to put it out there in the world. Or I received the impulse. If I've received this inspiration and this impulse, I will also receive the energy and the right timing for it to come into life. And that's something that I'm learning as well with time. I've been someone that has created a lot of space to receive the impulse, but between the impulse and the action taking, I've been very fast, really, really fast. And sometimes that's come from a place of, oh my God, the idea is gonna leave, or someone else is gonna take it, or I need to be fast. It's not enough. I need to bring it into life. And now I'm starting to learn that when the impulse arrives, I create space to feel ready as well in my body, to have the right energy, to have the right flow in my body as well, to go, okay, the impulse has sat in the body, it's cooked, not for 9 months, but maybe for 9 minutes, or for 9 moments of stillness. It's sat with me and it's gone, yes, now I'm ready. And then the masculine, when the body is ready, when it feels energized, when it feels ready, it will move on this earth, but not from a restless place. It would not move from a place of burnout. It will not move from a place of, I've got to, I need to, I have to, I've got to reach. It will move with clarity, intention, purpose, and grounding. And that's where the dance happens between yin and yang. The feminine has had enough time to feel safe, secure, to give birth to the idea. And when her Shakti has traveled all over the body and said, yes, only then should, in my opinion, right? People can contradict me, and I'm happy to hear that. Only then should the masculine go, all right, it's time to dance. Let's pick up this inspiration, let's pick up this energy, and let's take it into the world and bring good to me and to others. And I think there's a lot of elements there. There's spaciousness, there is the right timing, there's listening to your body, and trusting that if your energy is not feeling ready to take action yet, it's okay to be soft and slow for just a few more moments. It will come. Trust that if the impulse came, the energy will arrive as well, and you'll feel ready to take action. And that action will travel so much further than the burnout action.
I totally agree. And it will also feel like you will feel energized and you will feel vibrant. Whereas when it's coming from, yeah, forcing something, pushing through, it's really tiring. And this is why people get burned out, because they, let me just find the right words. They override their body signals and they just push through. And this is also because in nowadays society, mentally, we are very driven and we have a concept of how life should be and what we should have reached by the age of 30 and of 40 and of 50. And then we compare ourselves with other people and then we see, oh my God, she has so much more than I do. So I need to push harder in order to get there. And that's so tiring. It's so draining. And I have been working with my nervous system for the last 20 years, and I'm still working with it. Because what I really noticed also, like when I want to feel more trust and abundance in myself, I also need to have a regulated nervous system. And I think it's very important to have a regulated nervous system in order to shift from hustle to trust. So how can we regulate it to support us in this transformation? Because there are so many different tools out there. Like I have my tools to regulate my nervous system, but how do you work with your clients? And when you can see, they are in flight and fight mode or even in freeze mode, how do you get them out of there?
Mm. I really feel like our neck, and I have been realizing this recently a lot, is our neck, or let's say our shoulders, are the perfect place of division between mind and body, right? And if that didn't fully make sense because you're listening to this and it's not a visual experience for you right now, imagine that your shoulders have a lid and it crosses all over your neck, and it's a lid that you've been using to not feel your feelings your entire life, right? Your sensitivity wasn't welcome. Your feelings weren't welcome as a child. Your softness wasn't welcome. Therefore, you've learned to operate from the neck and above. from the mind. You've learned to operate with strategies for survival, strategies to push, strategies to be loved by mom and dad, strategies to be pleased, to please others. And that's sometimes what happens when we have a dysregulated nervous system. We're operating from the neck and above. We're operating fully from the mind. Therefore, the mind says more. The mind says do. The mind says pick up your phone, post more, share more, create more, do this more, reach out more, finances, numbers, etc., etc. But what you, me, and let's say us, what we are really a truth that we have been, let's say, pulled away from, a gift that we've been pulled away from society or from conditioning or whatever you want to call it, is our body. And our body is where peace lives. Our body is where softness lives. Our body is where joy lives. And if you're listening to this conversation and you're going, that's not true because I feel really anxious in my body and I feel really tight. The reason you feel that is because of the quality of your thoughts. It's because your thoughts have no more space to live from your neck above. So they've just started to live everywhere in your body and make you feel really tight, right? And the only way to shift that is to start being more in your body. Every single time that in the morning, for example, my practices are one of the first things that happens as soon as we open our eyes is we're in our mind, right? We've been in our mind, we've been in our thought state, we've been in the dream state, which is a very visual, thought, word driven state. And one of the first things that I do is I sit in silence in nature outside or somewhere with fresh air, let's say close to a window, and I just breathe and I visualize air, I visualize light traveling all the way from my mind back into the body.
Yeah, you are present.
Back into the body. And that's it. You're present, right? Like what you're saying, Karina, by the way, how do you recommend people to regulate your nervous system? I think it's just another way of saying, how do you become present?
Yeah, because when you become present, you also give your time, you give yourself time to process, no, all the thoughts, all the experiences you had. And usually we rush from one thing to the next until we don't feel ourselves anymore. No, this is like many of my clients, they just don't feel themselves anymore. And they look for all the answers outside of them. So I think the work that we are doing, that we are helping people and we lead them back to their body, into their body, to feel themselves, I think is a really beautiful work. And yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. So if someone listening is stuck in burnout or thinks he is on its way to a burnout, but scared to let go of the hustle, and I can relate to that. Like sometimes when you are just in that doing mode, slowing down and not doing something can like the most awful thing to do. It feels very wrong. And so what's one thing they can do today to start shifting their reality? Like plant a little seed.
Mm. I think it comes back to the metric of what it means to be good enough, right? Like we've associated being good enough to taking action, to being productive, to bringing value. For us coaches, it's like, how much service have you done? How much impact have you brought? How much have you given? How much have you give, value, value? How many lives have you reached this year? And so much of feeling good enough is associated with giving and pleasing others that we've forgotten that we're also good enough when we're just lying on the sofa watching Netflix. That we're also good enough when we're scratching our belly or when we're taking a slow moment and walking in nature. Those moments are worthy of love as well. Those moments are worthy of feeling good enough for as well. Like if you just take a real big step back and you observe yourself from above and you go, really? Was I just created to be a machine? Was I just created to bring money, to to move, to be a product of social media, to make an impact on other people's lives, to grow, 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 grow? Really, is that why God or the universe or why life created me? Or actually, did life create me to have a good time? Did life create me to experience joy and to relax and to have fun? Is that the only reason why I came into this earth to be a product of society, to be a vessel for creation and impact and and more money? Or did I actually just come to have fun? Like we're constantly searching for our purpose and we're constantly searching for that next big breakthrough and how much we can help others to feel good enough and how much we can keep growing our business to feel good enough. But you already are good enough even when you're slow and when you're resting. And a lot of people that may be listening to this may feel, but I don't feel that way. I really don't feel that way when I'm just watching TV. I feel like I'm useless, that I'm wasting time on this earth, that I should be productive, that I should be this, I should be that. And what I will say to them and I will say to myself is it's just because you're not allowing yourself to be. Allow yourself to just be. Allow yourself to just enjoy this life. Like, yes, you have a whole life ahead of you to fulfill your mission and your duties and to make the 10K and to reach and to all of that. You have a whole life ahead of you. But really question if that's why you came here on this earth, or did you come on this earth to smile and be happy?
Wonderful. Yeah. And also, what's the cost that people are paying of just thriving for success, no matter what? No? What's the cost that that we are paying if we have only that in mind? And what you just said, life is about we are here to enjoy life and to share life with other people and to yeah to live in community, to be yeah to be part of community, to have and also yeah what you said, so sometimes that we don't see our own worth. What I did once at a retreat, and I found that really really beautiful, and every one of us can do that also with their family or with their friends. So at the end of the retreat, every single person had to go in the center of the room, and everyone around had to note down two things that they like about the person, or that they value about the person, or that they find beautiful about that person. So, and then we put all the papers into one envelope. And 2 weeks or 3 weeks after the retreat, I sent the envelope to each single person. And I still have that envelope at home because they also gave me one. And whenever I have a moment of where I think, oh my God, what am I doing here? Then I open that envelope and I read through the comments. And it brings tears to my eyes because there is so much beauty in ourselves, so much beauty. And we are all so unique. And if we allow ourselves to show our gifts, our unique gifts to this world, I think we all make an impact. And yeah, I really, really loved our interview. So, how can people work with you or learn more about your approach to creating success from a place of abundance?
I I would love to share that, and I just wanted to add something based on what you just shared. I think the thing that you did on the retreat was so beautiful. Honestly, I love the idea of that. I even see and feel you getting a little bit emotional as you were talking about it right now, which is so heartwarming. And you said it's so special when people find and share their unique gifts and make an impact through that. And I think I just want to end this podcast saying that the unique gift in this life isn't what you do. The unique gift in this life is who you are. It's who you are right now. Like you don't need to add more things to your plate, more things on your CV, more things on your skill set. You don't need to read 100 more books or watch 10 more podcasts in order to be good enough. You are a gift already on this earth. You are a gift to your family. You are a gift to your loved ones. You're a gift to the person in front of the mirror. Maybe it's just time we start realizing that we don't need to do in order to be a gift. We are a gift already. Um, I just felt like sharing that. It's something that was in me, and it was very inspired by what you said. If people want to connect with me, they can follow me on Instagram at a.visionaire. I'm also on LinkedIn, Avi Ajwani, and yeah, I'd love to stay in touch through this podcast and further conversations with you as well. I really enjoyed this. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Wow, that was really an incredible conversation. And I hope today's episode with Avi has opened your eyes to new ways of approaching success, and that it's rooted in trust, in ease, in flow, and rather than stress and struggle. And Avi, he is really someone who can help you reach that place to take off all the layers that are holding you back right now, in order to express and live your unique gifts and just your being, just show who you are and enrich the world with your being. So if there is one thing I want you to take away from this is that you don't have to push harder to create the life that you desire. You can let go of the scarcity mindset and you can trust in your own worth and you can allow abundance to flow to you naturally. And now I would love to hear from you. So you can share your biggest takeaway from today's episode on Instagram. You can tag us and you can share this episode with a friend who needs to hear this message. And if you want to dive deeper into Avi's work, you can find all his contact details and links in the show notes. So be sure to check them out, follow him. And if you love this conversation, make sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode. It helps us grow this amazing community who are ready to thrive and not just to survive. Thank you so much, Avi.
Beautiful. Thank you.